Ok, lunes 21 de abril, lunes siguiente del día de Pascua. Vamos a ver qué sucede el día de hoy día, a ver cómo va el trading. Hay bastantes bancos que van a estar cerrados el día de hoy día. French Bank Holiday, German Bank Holiday, Italian Bank Holiday, GBP Bank Holiday. A las 8:30 Bobby está hablando, pero no hay ninguna carpeta ni, ¿cómo se llama? Ni naranja ni roja. Por ahora estamos viendo si va a ser un Seek Destroy del London Session. Vamos a ver cómo va la cosa aquí. Está bien, bastante bearish, la verdad. No traemos prisa en tomar ningún trade. Okay. Vamos a ver el price action hoy día porque venimos de la semana pasada que estuvo corta, por lo que se cerró el fin de semana del feriado. Entonces, vamos a ver qué nos indica. En comparación a la semana pasada, estamos bearish. El mercado abrió hacia abajo definitivamente. Posiblemente veamos una continuación esta semana. Pues no se ve nada. Nada bullish. No, este no sirve. Vamos a ver si se crea una SMT aquí. Y se ve más débil, pero los dos están cerca del sell side. Tiene bastante a donde tirar para abajo. Vamos a ver si hay fair value gaps de 1 hora. No. La verdad es que todo esto es un fair value gap. Todo eso sucede en 1 hora. ¿Sí? Igual. Todo eso de ahí. No tantos colores de aquí. No sé. 0.5. Estrecho. Y acá.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome to tonight's charting session. Hopefully everybody is doing well. Happy Sunday. Happy Easter. It is an amazing day. I wish everybody had an amazing Sunday. Hopefully you guys spent some time with family, spent some time with friends, but it's time to lock in. We got Monday open going into tomorrow. We got a new week. I'm super, super excited. Had a great start, or a great end to the last week on Wednesday, Thursday, because Friday was closed because it was Good Friday. But I wanted to spend the night, not too much time, but go over a little bit about what I want to see going into the market this next week. Kind of my plans going into Monday, possibly even sitting out of Monday, because just the last couple no news Mondays have not been too honestly just good in terms of opportunity, but also not good in terms of execution as well. So I want to see kind of what the overnight session looks like going into the start of the week. But without further ado, let's kind of jump in and just go over where we are in the chart. So last week, I continue to kind of say the exact same bias, which I'm going to say right now, which is as long and as much time that we continue to build price action in this range, it is going to be extremely hard to build a bigger time frame narrative from where we are in price right now. Because again, like we talked about, bigger time frame, the relative equal lows we're taking, we're trying to see, okay, do we want to put a bottom in? Do we want to work our way back to all-time highs? Because normally it's like when we have a correction like this in the market, there's really not much lower normally I would expect. I do want to see us go lower, but normally not too much lower, maybe just back down to this low and then start to really see our move back to all-time highs. But right now, based off of kind of where we are from the initial tariff news, which was right here on this big move up, is we're now building this kind of range. And again, this is expected. Like when we have a 13% move in the market in such a short amount of time, we expect this most of the time, right? We expect what happens after distribution, normally accumulation. So we're starting to accumulate on the bigger time frame in this range. And kind of what I want to see going into the start of this week is I want to see us pick a side. Now, obviously, right now, I would like to see us go lower. Now, but it is going to be extremely hard to base confidence off of this price action because there's many things that we could do. We could go all the way back up and then maybe sell back down. Or we could keep all of these lows intact and then go up to take a buy side and then go all the way back down. Like there's so many different things we can do because there hasn't been manipulation on either side of the market. So the best kind of setups that happened last week, and I believe that are going to happen this week as well, are going to be based off internal price action. We're probably going to spend some time before these highs get taken. Now, obviously, it's going to be a lot easier when we take these lows or highs to build a bias off of. I'd kind of like to see the high get taken. If we could somehow leave these intact, it'd be pretty cool because we can then look to see manipulation of the highs and work our way back lower. But it really depends on what the market wants to do. There's really no way to try to predict it or no way to try to theorize what is going to happen. And more importantly, the most important thing we can do is really be patient, be diligent for it to be clear, right? As traders, one of the most overlooked things about being a successful trader is being able to sit here and say to yourself, I don't know what the market wants to do. Because most people think that that's a bad thing. Most people think that it's a bad thing to admit to yourself that you don't know what you want to see. And in reality, that doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing. That doesn't mean that you don't know what to look for. It's that you just know that it's not in front of your face. And that's all that matters. If I know what I'm looking for and it's not in front of my face, that doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It means that it's just not there. So I'm going to not try to figure out what the jumble is, but I'm going to wait for it to be clear to me as to what that is. So on the 15-minute, kind of where we are in price action, we have a new week opening gap. This is basically just Sunday or Thursday in this case, actually. Sorry, because we didn't have on Friday. But Thursday to Sunday open, we did end up gapping down a little bit. So I want to see how this gap is going to play out at the start of this week, kind of see how it plays out. But I'd like to see us build price action in this 15-minute, right? This is the internal range inside of this bigger time frame external range, right? So if we could look to pick a side here, build more price action, look for internal manipulation, possibly run through this, come up, take buy side, look for bearish SMTs at these highs, see where ES wants to go as well. Again, ES is building pretty similar price action here. What I would really like to see is we've been continuing to respect kind of this bearish order flow to the downside. So I'd like to see us possibly rebalance back in the new week opening gap, look to see a move lower going into tomorrow, and possibly look to see something like this. I think this is probably the cleanest and clearest possible predicament of what we can maybe expect to see going into the start of this next week. But I'm very curious to see kind of how price action aligns with where we are and kind of going throughout the week. So pretty patient. I do want to take a look at news. We do not have news tomorrow. I do know that. Monday are some bank holidays. It's not you actually. Hold on. It is tomorrow. The U.S. bank holiday. Okay. I want to make sure because it didn't. I don't think it said Good Friday was a bank holiday either. So market is open tomorrow. We do not have any red folder news. Tuesday we don't have any red folder news either. Wednesday we have PMI, so Wednesday looks good. Thursday we have exiting home sales. Last time exiting home sales actually did give some volatility. We have unemployment at 8:30. Perfect. And then Friday we have consumer sentiment, no red folder. But again, most likely this week, I'm expecting kind of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to be sort of the hard hitters, especially kind of where we are in price action. I'd like to give the start of the week a little bit more time to build out the range, figure out where we want to go from here. Again, a lot of the times I can easily expect us all of Monday to just sit in this range potentially. So we'll see kind of what we want to do. One of the biggest things that I want to say to you guys going through the start of the week is do not lose capital and lose conviction so early on. It's very easy, especially coming off of a 3-day weekend. We want to be trading. We want to be, putting on trades. But let Monday really build out. So, do not just jump in immediately going into Monday, a little trigger happy. And it's a lot of times it's very easy to fall into that because we're coming off a 3-day weekend. But just control the trigger happiness. We want to be a little bit extra patient on Monday. In fact, I probably won't trade tomorrow, and I probably will skip out on Monday because it is a no news Monday, and my journal will continue to reaffirm to me that I should not be trading no news Mondays. So tomorrow, setting out is probably the best case, and most likely coming in on Tuesday and figuring out what we want to do from there. That's probably what the plan is that I'm going to have going into this week. Because until we pick a side, even on the lower time frames, too, keep in mind, we've got to pick a side on the bigger time frames for an external bias, but we don't even have really an internal bias until we get more confirmation on this internal range, right? We could obviously come up with this new week opening gap, look to displace lower, especially maybe, put something in right here. This is kind of what I would need to see for me to have an idea of what price wants to do, something like this. So, but we'll see what happens going into the overnight session. There's not really much that I want to cover. Just any other questions that you guys have for me on this Easter Sunday. Will you go live Monday? No, I'm not trading on Monday. Justin, I switched from Forex to futures. PA has never been so clear. Had a question. How do you decide between trading both indices? Good question. So 80 to 90, honestly, probably 90% of the time I'm trading NQ. I prefer trading NQ because, in my opinion, it's more volatile. ES kind of has a little bit more clunkier price action, in my opinion. It's like kind of blocky, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it, but the more that you watch ES, the more that you'll understand what I'm saying. It's just clunky. Like, this is clunky. And NQ is a lot more efficient. So NQ is a lot more clean, a lot more efficient when it comes to price action. And they're correlating assets too. So if I can look at ES and I can look at NQ,
definitivamente no hay nada.
Clarity,
No voy a hacer ningún trade, voy a dejar que el precio hoy día actúe, entonces que ver. Estamos de feriado hoy día. So time holiday europeos. Mañana ya hay bancos de vuelta.
We're making a lower high.
No está armado en el movido, pero
el
miércoles van a haber bastantes noticias.
I still think NQ is providing more
tanto en
price
Europa.
action. But there are still some times when I will trade ES as a weaker asset, and the times in which I do that, it's because the liquidity pool is a lot clearer. So, for example, there could be a lot of resting liquidity that's super clear on ES. There's a lot of stacked lows. ES loves to make equal lows. So if there's a lot of equal lows on ES, it gives me a little bit more conviction to say, okay, I know ES is going to go here. I'm going to take a trade on ES instead of NQ. But most of the time I'm trading on NQ because it's more efficient.
Sí, el precio está haciendo nada definitivamente hoy. No vamos a perder el tiempo hoy día.
How do you connect the broker to TradePath? In the settings, you go to add broker.
Hasta aquí.
So probably test one. Okay, now. So you go up here, add broker. Right now we only have TradeStation and TradeAway. We're working on APIs right now. We have a whole team that's just cranking on stuff right now. But yeah, you go up here and add account, broker. Or input trades from CSVs.
Dejémoslos. Fin de la transmisión.